What's the best way to learn English? Do you really want to know that? I'm going to tell you how you're able to learn English the best way possible. So, I'm going to name some things that really helped me to learn English in about 2 years. And what can you do under your circumstances? First thing, English is something that you must practice, not only English, other languages as well, that you must practice every day. The best way, I'm going to answer the question real quick. The best way to learn English is basically going to a native English country or going to a country that most people will also be able to speak in English, because we do have many countries that in which people are able to speak English. In Europe, for example, many countries people speak English very well, and it's not their primary language, excluding, of course, uh, countries from the United Kingdom, of course. That's the first thing. If you if you have it all, you need money and time, do an exchange. Even if it's just 2 months, it's gonna be great. There are also very good exchanges that you do English courses, so it's gonna be like 4 hours a day. So it's a lot if you think about, even for 2 months. That is equivalent to, wow, like more than a year, of course, if you think about. And just the fact of just traveling for a month, actually, sorry, you will be able to learn a lot. But you've got to try, you've got to talk, you've got to really make your effort to learn it better. Because whenever you're around an environment of English, you are going to listen a lot, you're going to try a lot, and you're going to be obligated to speak, unless you want to make it in a way that you communicate the minimum possible and come back home without learning anything, which happens. I know some people that went to United States, lived there for many years, had cars, jobs, houses, and even had a kid in there. I know people like that, like this. I know a guy who did this, and he told me proudly that he doesn't know how to speak English. So it is possible, but for me, it makes absolutely no sense doing this. It's such a waste of time doing this, but all right, good. This is the first thing. Doing an exchange program, Erasmus, whatever. Great. But, well, you can't because it's too expensive, because you don't have time for that, or maybe you're not, you have a job, you don't have during your vacations, you even can't do that. Okay, it's all right. So here's the most popular thing people would use, and it's much simpler than going abroad. It takes much less effort, which is the idea of using everything in English. Watching movies in English, listening to music in English. And why? I think this is kind of a cliche. Everybody talks about that, but it's a fact. Most of my English I have learned from this. It's something like that I can't say otherwise. It's the whole truth. English is about practicing, and even if you don't have anyone around to speak in English with you, just by listening in English, watching my videos here on YouTube, all my videos, and other YouTube channels as well, and watching movies, series, and everything in English, you're gonna learn a lot, a lot. Why? If you really want to speak English well, first you have to listen well. You have to listen a lot. That's the thing. Because in order to know how to speak English correctly, you have to listen a lot. Before speaking well, we have to listen a lot because you have the idea. You have to have all the words in your mind. They will just come out of your mouth without thinking much because you've been practicing it. You have been listening to it a lot and you know how to pronounce it correctly. How to do that? For example, with a movie, forget about dubbed movies in your language. Always watch movies in English. You can watch in the beginning with your country subtitles, your language subtitles, okay. But then I truly recommend you watching it using English subtitles. Why? Because when you watch a movie in English with English subtitles, all the words in the subtitles will be exactly the ones that are being pronounced. Exactly. There will be absolutely no difference. So it's similar to when you read a text, listening to the audio at the same time. So you have the reference of how to pronounce that word correctly. And don't break a sweat, don't think it's very difficult because all the time that you're watching something new, you're not learning 100% a new thing. No, you already know the structure. You have already heard a lot of these words. So you're just going to complete the puzzle. That's the idea. Some pieces of the puzzle, you're going to put them. That's the idea. Or think about a pyramid. So you have a pyramid and you're adding new bases. Yeah, you're making your bases strong. You're going to the other levels and then you're improving little by little. That's the thing about it. And when you're listening to a music, you will also work a lot the pronunciation and the listening. By listening, you will be able to learn how to pronounce these words correctly. Of course, there are some songs that they purposely pronounce some words incorrectly in a way that they will fit the sonority, the sound they want to. Yeah, but that is not so usual to happen. So, and also look at the lyrics in English because just understanding 100% of the music just by listening can be quite difficult. So you've got to do everything possible to deep dive in English. Deep dive in English. English is like going to the beach. If you really want to learn English, you can't just stay next to the sand. No, you have to swim up front and you have to dive in the sea. Of course, don't this is just a metaphor, okay? Just do it metaphorically, of course. But the idea here with English is the deepest you dive, the best you're gonna get. So you have to surround yourself with English. English in that case is like seawater. You have to be involved with English with everything you do. And with internet, it's much easier to learn English than before. Back in my day when I was learning English, of course, at that time we already had internet. It was like 2007, 2008, 2009, around that time. I think 2009. Used a lot of internet, of course. I've watched a lot of movies and shows, everything. Sorry, my cat just make a mess here. Just made a mess. And it really helped me. But I was very, very curious about it. The thing about learning English is not that you have to bring a notebook whenever you're watching something or you have to pause the movie all the time to try to understand something. No, the idea of learning English has to be something more passive. Passive learning has to be something fun, not something boring and hard to do. You just have to do it in a way that doesn't look bad. So go after the movies you like, the movies you probably have already watched, but you like it so much and you don't care about watching it again, but watching it in English, and it's gonna do great. It's gonna do great. Do it, put the English in moments like you're having fun, and it's gonna be much, much, much easier to learn English. Don't think like, oh, I have to study English by watching a movie. Oh, I'm gonna take a notebook or I'm going to use my cell phone to. No, no, you're not gonna take notes. You're not gonna write anything. You're just going to watch and try to understand. That's much better. Okay. And by this, I was able to learn a lot. Even when I didn't have anyone to talk about, I was just talking with myself, like, like if I had somebody to talk in English. But also, I have used a lot of opportunities to talk in English. Some, I did some traveling abroad, of course. That helped me a lot. But if you don't have the money to do it, it's no problem. I know people that have barely left their state here in Brazil and they are able to speak English without English course, without anything. And if they can do, you can do it too. Right? English is not difficult as people think about. English, it's quite easy if you really take it as something light, if you take it as something easy, if you just implement English in your life, it gets much, much, much easier. You learn it by practicing. And by the way, you don't need to understand everything. You don't need to understand all the aspects of grammar to talk in English, to learn how to read, to understand English. No, practice, practice, practice. That's how you learn a language. And that will be it. Thanks a lot for coming. Don't forget to hit the like, comment, subscribe if you're not subscribed to the channel. And if you really like that comment, also recommend to other people. And that will be it. If you really wanna learn English the best way, come with me. I'm an English teacher here. I teach online. You can watch all my other videos here on my YouTube channel. But if you want something else, we can schedule a private class with me. That will be it. Thanks a lot for coming. If you want your English to be relevant, come with me on Relevant English. See ya.